Hey guys! Welcome back to another video. Today we will discuss the business cycle and its different phases. Let's get started. The business cycle refers to the fluctuations in economic activity that an economy experiences over time. Let's visualize a simple graph of the business cycle. On the y-axis, we have real output, which is typically measured as real GDP. This represents economic activity or production, indicating how much an economy is producing. On the x-axis, we have time. The actual output or economic activity that an economy experiences over time fluctuates. It increases, decreases, increases, and decreases again. This fluctuation is what is called the business cycle. Also typically included on the diagram is potential output, which we will discuss later. There are four main phases of the business cycle that you need to know. The first phase is called an expansion, and that is periods of the business cycle where the output is growing. It's characterized by low unemployment, increasing GDP, and high inflation. The next phase you need to know is called a contraction, and that is periods of the business cycle where the output is declining. Contractions are characterized by high unemployment, decreasing GDP, and low inflation or even deflation. If a contraction lasts for more than 2 consecutive quarters, then it's usually labeled as a recession. A peak marks the highest point of economic activity and signifies the end of an expansion and the start of a downturn. Finally, a trough represents the lowest point of economic activity, marking the end of a recession and the beginning of a potential recovery or expansion. Now, let's go over output gaps. But before we begin, you need to understand what potential output is. Potential output or potential GDP is the level of output an economy can achieve and it is producing at full employment, meaning that it only experiences its natural rate of unemployment. On the diagram, the dotted line represents the potential output. Notice how sometimes the actual output is higher or lower than the potential output. That's an output gap. An output gap is basically the difference between actual output and potential output. An inflationary gap or a positive output gap occurs when the actual output is greater than the potential output. During this period, the actual unemployment rate is lower than the natural rate of unemployment, meaning that there is very low frictional and structural unemployment. A recessionary gap or a negative output gap occurs when the actual output is less than the potential output. The actual unemployment rate is higher than the natural rate of unemployment, meaning that there is high cyclical, frictional, and structural unemployment. When there is no output gap and the actual output is equal to potential output, the economy is at what's called long-run equilibrium. The actual unemployment rate is equal to the natural rate of unemployment, meaning there is no frictional or structural unemployment. Before we end this lesson, here is something to note. An expansion or increase in actual output is not necessarily considered economic growth. Economic growth occurs when the potential output of a nation increases. That growth is shown by the dashed, upward-sloping trend line or the growth trend in the business cycle model. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and make sure to like and subscribe. See you soon.